Can you live past 90? That is the question, isn't it? You might think it is all about luck, about having the right genes or avoiding accidents. But let me tell you something. After living for nearly a century, I have seen people who should have made it past 90 drop dead in their 60s, and others who had everything stacked against them push past 100. The secret is not just in your DNA. It is in your body, your habits, and the way you treat time itself. And if you know what to look for, you can see the signs, clear as day, whether your body is built for the long haul or if trouble is creeping in. I remember a man named George. Strong as an ox in his younger years. Ate whatever he wanted, worked hard, never worried about doctors. He told me once, "I feel fine. No need to check up on what ain't broken." He was gone by 68. Then there was Margaret. Frail looking, quiet, always watching what she ate, moving slow but steady. She crossed 100 like it was nothing. What made the difference? The signs. She paid attention. George ignored them. First, let me tell you about your energy levels. If you wake up tired more often than not, that is a warning. I am not talking about one bad night of sleep. I am talking about that deep, dragging exhaustion that does not go away even after a full night's rest. Your body is supposed to recharge. If it does not, something is off. Maybe it is your heart struggling to pump strong enough. Maybe your cells are not getting the oxygen they need. Whatever the cause, it is not something to shrug off. People who live past 90 wake up ready to go, even if they move a little slower than they used to. Then there's your appetite. Pay attention to it. Not just how much you eat, but whether you even feel like eating. A strong appetite is a sign of a body that still has fire in it. If food starts tasting dull, or if you forget to eat because nothing sounds good, your body might be shutting down bit by bit. And digestion, oh, that is a big one. You should not be bloated all the time, struggling with indigestion, or running to the bathroom too often. People who make it past 90 have guts that work smoothly. If yours does not, fix it before it is too late. Now, let's talk about movement. Can you stand up from a chair without using your hands? Can you bend down and pick something up without feeling like you might tip over? These may seem like small things, but they predict how long you will last. Balance and strength are like the roots of a tree. If they weaken too soon, the whole tree is in danger of falling. I have seen it happen, one bad fall, and that is it. No coming back. If your legs feel shaky, if your grip is weak, do something about it now. Breathing is another one. You should not be gasping for air after climbing a flight of stairs. If you feel short of breath doing simple things, your lungs or heart might be struggling. I knew a man who ignored his shortness of breath until one day, he just could not breathe at all. A good set of lungs is like a clock that keeps ticking, steady and strong. If yours is slowing down, do not wait. Strengthen them while you still can. Now, here is something most people do not think about. Your attitude. I have never met a miserable man who made it past 90. The ones who last are the ones who find reasons to laugh, to keep moving forward, to enjoy the little things. I knew a woman, Eleanor. She lost her husband young, outlived 2 of her children, had every reason to be bitter. But she was not. She found joy in the smallest things, a cup of tea, a bird outside her window, the warmth of the sun. She made it to 103. I am telling you, if you are angry all the time, if stress eats at you day and night, your body will not last. It is like rust on metal. You may not see it right away, but it is eating through you. Another thing. Pay attention to your memory. Forgetting where you put your keys once in a while is normal. But if you start losing time, forgetting important things, or struggling to find words, that is not just aging. That is your brain waving a red flag. The people who live long, really long, keep their minds sharp. They read. They talk. They stay curious. A brain that is active keeps the whole body going. Let it slow down, and the rest will follow. And here is a sign most folks never consider. Your skin. It is not just about wrinkles. It is about how it heals. If you get a small cut and it takes forever to close up, that is a problem. Slow healing means poor circulation. Poor circulation means your body's repair system is breaking down. When you are young, your body bounces back fast. If that bounce starts disappearing, you need to pay attention. Now, let's talk about pain. Aches and pains come with age, sure. But constant pain? That is not normal. That is your body telling you something is wrong. I have seen too many people ignore pain until it is too late. They think they can tough it out. But pain is not weakness. It is a warning. If something hurts, figure out why. The people who live longest do not just endure. They fix what needs fixing. And let me tell you one more thing. If you are always cold, even when others are comfortable, that is a bad sign. Your circulation might be failing. Your thyroid might be slowing down. Either way, a body that struggles to keep warm is a body that is losing its edge. People who live past 90 have a certain warmth about them, not just in personality, but in their actual body. I am telling you all this because I have seen what happens when people ignore these signs. They brush them off, thinking they are just part of aging. But they are not. They are warnings. And if you catch them early, you can do something about it. You do not have to fade away before your time. You do not have to accept a slow decline. The body gives you clues. The people who live long, really long, are the ones who listen. So, can you live past 90? Maybe. But do not leave it to chance. Look at your body. Listen to it. Fix what needs fixing. Keep moving. Keep laughing. Keep living. Because time does not wait. And neither should you. Now, let's clear some common questions. Why do some questions require words, while others can only be answered through action? Some questions demand words. Others demand action. And the trouble comes when a man does not know which is which. I have seen it happen time and time again. A man spends his days trying to explain something that can only be shown. Another man rushes into action when what was needed was a moment of thought and a few well-chosen words. It is a hard lesson to learn, knowing when to speak and when to move. But if a man does not learn it, he will spend his life frustrated, talking when no one listens or acting when no one understands. I remember a young man who once asked me, "How do I prove that I love her?" He wanted a perfect set of words, a speech that would make her see his heart. But love is not a thing of words. You can say "I love you" 1,000 times, but if your actions do not show it, those words are empty. A man who truly loves does not need to announce it at every turn. He shows it in the way he stays, in the way he listens, in the way he sacrifices without being asked. Love is one of those questions that can only be answered through action. Then there are the questions that demand words, where action alone will not do. A boy once asked me, "Why did my father leave?" No action could answer that for him. He needed words. The right words. Truthful ones, not just comforting ones. Some questions hold pain inside them, and action without explanation leaves an emptiness, a wound that never quite heals. When a child asks why, when a heart is broken and looking for meaning, words are the only way through. Silence in these moments is like locking a door and throwing away the key. There is a time when action speaks louder than words, and there is a time when words build the bridge that action alone cannot cross. A man who has done wrong can apologize all he wants, but if he does not change, his words mean nothing. I have seen men make promises with the smoothest voices, swearing they will be better, swearing they will stay, swearing they will never hurt someone again. But words without action are like wind. They come and go, and in the end, they leave nothing behind. The only true apology is changed behavior. That is a question answered through action. Yet there are moments when action without words creates more harm than good. A father who works hard every day, believing that his effort alone shows his love for his family, may still leave his children feeling unloved. They need to hear it. They need to be told, in clear and certain words, I see you. I love you. You matter to me. Some men believe that providing is enough, that being present in the room is the same as being present in the heart. But silence in these moments can make love feel like absence. I have learned that people often get it wrong because they are afraid. Some use words when action is needed because words are safer. It is easier to say, I will be there for you, than to actually show up when it matters. It is easier to promise change than to go through the hard work of becoming better. And some people act without words because words make them feel vulnerable. They think, if I do enough, they will know how I feel. But the truth is, some feelings need to be spoken aloud. Some wounds need words to heal. One of the hardest lessons in life is knowing when to act and when to speak. I have sat at bedsides where no words were needed, just the grip of a hand, the steady presence of another soul. In those moments, words fail. They are too small for the weight of what is happening. But I have also seen men walk away from conversations that needed to happen, from apologies that needed to be spoken, from truths that needed to be said. A man must learn to listen, not just to the words spoken, but to the space between them. If someone asks for reassurance, do not just act. Speak. If someone needs proof, do not just speak. Act. If a question is about meaning, about understanding, about pain that lingers in the heart, words are the answer. But if a question is about trust, about character, about whether a person is truly who they claim to be, action is the only answer that matters. I have seen marriages fall apart because one person kept waiting for words that never came. I have seen friendships fade because promises were made but never kept. I have seen children grow distant from their parents because their love was never spoken aloud, only assumed. And I have seen people struggle with doubt, waiting for an action that would prove what words had already said. The balance is delicate, but it is not impossible. A wise man knows when his words will be heard and when they will only be noise. He knows when his actions will speak for him and when they will be misunderstood without explanation. There is no rulebook, no perfect answer that applies to every situation. But if a man listens, truly listens, he will know. He will feel the weight of what is needed. When someone is drowning in sorrow, action alone will not lift them. They need words. When someone has lost faith in you, words alone will not mend the break. They need action. And when both words and action come together, when what is said is also what is done, then there is truth. Then there is something real, something that lasts. So, why do some questions require words while others can only be answered through action? Because not all questions are the same. Because words shape the mind, but actions shape the heart. Because understanding comes from listening, and wisdom comes from knowing which answer a question truly needs. Can we ever truly answer a question for someone else, or must each person find their own truth? Ah, my friend, you have asked a question that is as old as thought itself. Can we ever truly answer a question for another, or must each person find their own truth? Sit with me, and let me tell you what I have learned over the many years I have walked this earth, through days of triumph and nights of doubt, through moments of clarity and times when all seemed wrapped in fog. I have spoken with the young and the old, the wise and the foolish, the seekers and those who believe they have already found what they need to know. And if there is one thing I have learned, it is this. No answer given by one person to another will ever be wholly accepted unless it resonates with something already stirring in the listener's soul. A man may speak words of wisdom, he may lay out his reasoning with all the clarity of a mountain stream, but if the one who hears him is not ready, those words will be like seeds cast on stone. They may lie there, waiting for the right season, or they may be washed away and lost forever. I have seen men ask the same question in different ways 100 times, thinking that if they just phrased it correctly, the answer would suddenly reveal itself. They go to their elders, their teachers, their friends, even to books and the whisperings of the wind, and they search for an answer that satisfies them. But when a truth is given too easily, without struggle, without the ache of discovery, it often slides off the mind like water off a leaf. It does not sink in. It does not take root. Why? because the deepest truths are not simply received. They must be earned. I remember a young man who came to me many years ago. His eyes were bright with the hunger for knowledge. He wanted to know the meaning of life. Ah, such a question. He asked me, "Old man, you have lived long. Tell me, what is the purpose of all this? Why are we here?" I smiled at him, for I had asked the same question when I was young. And I told him, "If I give you my answer, it will only be mine. You must find your own." He frowned, frustrated, and pressed me again. "But surely you must have found something in all your years." And so I told him, "Yes, I have found many things, but each time I thought I had grasped the final truth, life showed me that I had only touched the surface. Truth is not a single thing. It is like a fire that changes shape as you move around it. What I see from where I stand is not what you will see from where you are." He left dissatisfied. He wanted a single, solid answer that he could hold in his hands. But truth is not a stone. It is not something that can be handed from one person to another like a coin in the marketplace. It must be discovered, uncovered, sometimes even fought for. And this, my friend, is why no one can ever fully answer a question for another. We can offer guidance, we can share our experiences, we can give direction like a man pointing to the stars, but each traveler must walk his own road and see with his own eyes. Yet, do not mistake my words for saying that we should not seek wisdom from others. No, far from it. The words of the wise can be like torches in the dark, like echoes of truth calling from the distance. But even the greatest wisdom, if taken without understanding, is like wearing another man's shoes. They may look fine, but they will never fit quite right. I have seen men who cling to the words of their teachers without question, never testing them, never making them their own. And in the end, they are like parrots who repeat without knowing, who speak but do not understand. I once met a woman who had spent her life following the teachings of a great scholar. Every question she had, she answered with his words. Every doubt, she quieted by recalling his lessons. But one day, something happened. A moment of pain, a deep sorrow struck her, and the words she had repeated for years suddenly felt hollow. They were no longer enough. She came to me, her heart heavy, and she asked, "Why do the truths I believed in no longer bring me comfort?" And I told her, "Because they were never truly yours. You wore them like a cloak that was given to you, but now you must weave your own." And so, my friend, if you ask me whether we can truly answer a question for someone else, I will tell you this. We can offer words, we can share our knowledge, we can give direction, but the journey of truth is one each must take alone. No matter how wise a man may be, no matter how much he has seen, he cannot live another's life for them. He cannot walk their path, bear their burdens, or see through their eyes. And so, every truth that is truly known must be discovered within. Yet, let us not be discouraged. Let us not think that if answers must be found alone, then we should never speak, never share, never guide. No, our words still have power. They may not provide the final answer, but they can light the way. They can stir something in the heart of the listener, plant a seed that will one day grow when the season is right. And that, perhaps, is the greatest gift we can give. Not to hand someone a truth as if it were a thing that could be grasped, but to awaken in them the desire to seek, to question, to find for themselves what no one else can give them. So, if you ever find yourself in the position of being asked for an answer, do not be too quick to think that your words alone will satisfy. Speak, yes. Share what you have learned. But remember that truth is not a simple thing, nor is it the same for all. What is clear to you may be a riddle to another. And what is a riddle to you may already be clear to someone else. In the end, each must find their own way, and the only true answer is the one that is found through living, through searching, through experiencing the world in all its beauty and sorrow. And so, my friend, if you ask me for an answer, I will give you this. Seek, always seek. Listen to the wisdom of others, but never take it blindly. Question, ponder, test, and make what you find your own. The greatest truths are not given. They are discovered. And when you find them, they will not feel like something new, but rather like something you have always known, something that has been waiting within you all along. If an answer is forgotten, did it ever truly exist, or does its impact remain even if the words fade? Ah, my friend, you ask a question that touches the very nature of knowledge, of memory, of what lingers even when the mind lets go. If an answer is forgotten, did it ever truly exist, or does its impact remain even if the words fade? Sit with me, and let me tell you what I have learned in the long years of my life, through days filled with certainty and nights shrouded in doubt. I have watched the seasons turn, seen the young grow old, witnessed the rise and fall of voices that once rang with clarity. I have heard stories that lived on for centuries, even as the names of those who first spoke them were lost to time. And if there is one truth I have come to understand, it is this: what is forgotten is not always gone. What fades from memory does not always vanish. There are things that leave no mark upon the mind but carve deep into the soul. There was a time when I was young and full of questions, much like you. I sought answers with the desperation of a man chasing the horizon, believing that once I found them, they would stay with me forever. I thought that knowledge, once grasped, could never slip away. But life, in its quiet wisdom, taught me otherwise. I have had moments of great realization, moments where clarity struck like lightning, where I thought, now I understand. And yet, as the years passed, the words, the reasoning, even the certainty of those moments faded. I could not recall the exact thoughts that had once seemed so clear. I could not repeat the answers that had once satisfied me. And so I asked myself, if I have forgotten them, were they ever real? But then I looked at my life, at the way I had changed, at the way I had grown, and I realized that even if the words had faded, their weight remained. I was not the same man who had once asked those questions. I had been shaped by the answers, even if I could no longer hold them in my mind. It is like the wind that moves the trees. You may not see the wind itself, but you can see its effects in the bending of the branches, in the scattering of the leaves. The wind passes, but its presence lingers in what it has touched. I once knew a wise old woman who spent her life teaching others, sharing her knowledge with all who would listen. She was patient, kind, and filled with understanding. She did not hoard her wisdom, nor did she demand that her students remember every word she spoke. It is not the words that matter, she told me one day, but what they leave behind. I watched as her students went out into the world, forgetting many of the lessons she had taught them, yet living differently because of them. The exact phrases may have faded, the explanations may have been lost, but the way they saw the world had changed. It is the same with the great truths of life. A child does not remember the first time they learned to walk, the first time they learned to speak, yet the steps they take and the words they say are proof that those moments happened. A man who has loved deeply may one day forget the first time he spoke of his love, forget the promises he once made, but his heart will still carry the imprint of what he felt. And what of the stories of old? There are tales that have been told and retold for generations, their original words long forgotten, their first tellers lost to time. Yet their meaning endures. Their lessons continue to shape those who hear them. The details may shift, the names may change, but the essence remains. Does that not prove that an answer, once found, does not cease to exist simply because it is no longer remembered? I have seen men who have suffered great loss, who have known sorrow so deep that it swallowed even their happiest memories. They could no longer recall the laughter of those they had loved, the words that were once spoken between them. And yet, when they spoke of their loss, I could hear in their voices the echo of those forgotten moments. Even without remembering, they had been shaped by what once was. So tell me, my friend, does forgetting truly erase something, or does it simply change the way it lives within us? There was a time when I carried a great anger within me. I had been wronged, betrayed by one I had trusted. And though the years passed, though I no longer recalled the exact words of the betrayal, the pain lingered. I could not remember what had been said, only the way it had made me feel. And so I learned that even when the details fade, the impact remains. In time, I let go of that anger, not by remembering, but by understanding that I did not need to hold on to the past for it to have shaped me. So, my friend, if you ask me whether an answer that is forgotten ever truly existed, I will tell you this. Existence is not measured only by memory. The sun rises whether we watch it or not. The river flows whether we hear its song or not. And truth, once known, does not disappear simply because the mind no longer holds it. What matters is not whether we remember every word, every detail, but whether we have been changed by what we once knew. There will come a time when even the wisest among us forgets. There will come a day when the greatest stories are no longer told, when the words we now speak are lost to time. But if those words have touched even one soul, if they have altered even one life, then they have left something behind that memory alone cannot contain. So do not fear forgetting. Do not think that what slips from your mind is gone forever. The answers you seek today may fade with time, but their mark upon you will remain. You may not always recall the exact moment of understanding, the precise words that brought you clarity, but you will carry their weight in your actions, in your choices, in the way you see the world. And in that, my friend, they will live on. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.